Hi, folks. This is Apple Treats episode 22nd. Wow,
Yes.
that's a lot. Hello, Vladimir.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
We planned this episode to be probably short since there were not too much news to cover. I think we were wrong, but time will tell. When we planned this episode, we called it betas and education. So probably we need to scratch that and say releases and education, but we'll see.
And a lot of news.
Yeah. Yeah, and we have first comment for this show. Hello from Belarus. Yes, hello Belarus. Nice to see you here. And yeah, everybody who are watching us live, just put your comments, questions into the chat. We will try to cover them during this episode. And I think we need to start with the promises which we made previously. I promised to test new parallel build system integration with Xcode, and I did it.
So how it is? Is it so good?
Yeah, let's start with good news. So it works, and it gives you some performance boost, and this boost is repeatable. I mean, that was not the error in the settings or something. So each time I tried, I did clean builds, I deleted everything, I reinstalled the packages and everything. And so I did a couple of times, and what I see is 1 to 2 seconds gain on each build for real apps, which usually take from 14 seconds to build to 30 seconds to build. So it's not too big apps. And I used my Intel Mac, which is probably considered now as some ancient device. But yeah, so right, yeah. So we can use it for heating. We have cold winters, so it helps with keeping temperature higher here. But so it consistently better, and the build's actually working. At least it seems so. But these improvements are not that critical for me. I mean, I don't say that this 1 second definitely changed much for me. So we need to try this on Apple Silicon, Max, and that probably might be something different. Okay, so that's it. Yeah, there is an improvement, but can't say I'm impressed having this on my Intel machine.
So we can say that it was good and before, but now it's a little bit better. So there's a lot of room for improvement.
Right. Yeah. We'll see, and we will try to test that on Apple Silicon Max. We will try to get some insights from the guys who already use that for their regular day-to-day jobs.
Okay, so it's time for our usual part of our podcast. No, it's not a beta review today, so now it's release review.
Right, and I actually have these releases here on a couple of my devices which I use day to day, and I'm even running that this podcast from the Mac, which is updated to 12.1. So what can I say? Having these updates for almost a day, they are quite good in terms of the almost no problems with that, and we will put Xcode for the later, so we will talk about Xcode a little bit later. But let's focus on the releases. So what's new? Well, basically, App Privacy Report is here, and it's enabled, and you can check your applications in terms of what sites they contact and how often. So for example, we can check if your application sends data to some undisclosed location somewhere or whatever, or it just uses Apple services for something. So the report seems to be working fine. I'm not quite sure, will it track, for example, if the application uses some kind of low-level socket connections? We probably might need to check that. But it shows, for example, if application uses Google services or Amazon services, you will see like a lot of traffic going to domains which are corresponding to those. And for example, like every application which uses Firebase as their backend, somewhat backend, you will see that in the app privacy report too. So that's a good thing, and it's a little bit hidden. So you need to go into the settings, like to privacy, and look for the app and like check those reports. But that's still nice, and at least you can basically see how often and how much the data is sent. You will not see the data itself, but you will basically see how often the app contacts those hosts.
It's a good moment for enabling SSL pinning for services, because now people would like to know what you're setting from these apps.
And they will probably start more experimenting with that. Yeah, they will see the domain names and they will try to like check that, and that's a lot easier to see now. One thing which I did not expect is the new languages for Siri on HomePod and tvOS. We heard that there will be Dutch language. That was in the news, but we didn't hear about Russian language. And basically, you have Russian language on HomePod right now, and you have it on tvOS too. Interestingly, you can have Russian language only in Russia region for only this combination works. So you cannot set Russian language but different region. That's weird, but okay, we can think that this might be improved in the future. But it's still nice to have better support for Russian languages for Russian speaking users. So it's interesting, at least interesting.
That might be just some promo campaign for Russia.
Yeah, well,
if you
initially it was said
support of Russian language, come to Russia.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, that probably might mean that the HomePods will be sold in Russia officially soon, and you will not need to order that from the US or from other locations as you had to do previously, but we'll see. What's next? So there are legacy contacts added in these updates. So you basically can designate somebody who will take care of your Apple ID in case you pass away. That was announced on WWDC, and this feature now comes to releases on of the platforms. So
don't forget
probably
to do this.
you probably need to do that. You have to spend some time on like setting these things up. That like we know that might be uninteresting to do, but still, like, it's not too long to set up. So like, please do. One more thing. So Apple Music Voice Plan is added there, but it's available in select countries. And I already have actually Apple Music on my account, so I can't check that how it works. I saw a couple of reports how the Apple Music app looks like. It's basically empty, so you have to use Siri for almost everything. So if you are interested in having music for quite cheap, so it's I believe it's $5 per month in US or something like that, and that's probably a good value if you are using HomePods and you're already communicating with music by Siri. But probably Apple Music itself, or
$200 on a HomePod, like big HomePod. I'm not sure that we should.
Yeah. And by the way, like, you probably will already have Apple One. I mean, like, I don't know the percentage now. We might have some feedback on in terms of like if somebody knows how many users use Apple One, but it's still better to have it bundled. For example, like you have music, you have TV, you have arcade, you have fitness, and in some countries you have news and iCloud storage. Yeah, so it's like this bundle is pretty nice, actually.
I have a sad story about this. So last week
Okay.
I found that I paid twice for some reason. So I have Apple One Premiere enabled, and also for my family, I had 2 terabytes iCloud plan. I thought, okay, everything is fine, should work. However, I found that I found two items in my credit card report. So one from Apple One Premiere and another one from iCloud. So I started digging, what's going on? Why? And then I found that to make it work, to link your, so yeah, just getting back a little bit. So I have 2 different accounts, one for iTunes and another one for iCloud. So it's one on like old Gmail.com address, another one. I thought, oh, I want to have apple@me.com email. So thought, oh, it would be so cool. So I have 2 accounts now. It's not so useful right now. But yeah, I found that to make it work properly, you need to open settings of your Apple One subscription and say which one will use like this extended iCloud storage. So that was unexpected, but they, being honest, automatically they send me money back from this
Nice.
iCloud storage. So that was good.
And by the way, there is one more thing interesting here. If you're, for example, you got the Premier account and you have 2 terabytes, and for some reason that's not enough, and that could be, for example, if you have a lot of photos and you use something like DSLR where you prefer to store raw files, or like you shoot something in ProRes or whatever, like you can spend that amount. You can purchase the subscription, like the Apple One with 2 terabytes, and you can also purchase additionally 2 terabytes for you. So you will have 4 terabytes, and it seems that like every family member also can purchase additionally like iCloud storage. So you can increase your total amount like when needed.
Terabytes.
Well, that's I don't know, like if those will merge into one single storage for everybody. That's something I would like to check. But your storage, like if you will have like 2 terabytes plus 2 terabytes, those will be merged and they will be spread for the family. So interestingly, so again, like if you need more, that's possible.
Yeah. If someone has such experience, just share it with us in comments. It would be interesting to hear what you're doing with all that storage.
Right. Yeah. You probably need to use some like really storage heavy apps. And let's get back to developers. So there was not just the operating system released, but there was also Xcode 13.2, which
and
like
the main feature is
back deployment of structured concurrency. Yes, that's something we all waited for, and it's in release. The problem is that you shouldn't be installing a release from the App Store. Unfortunately, it's broken, and that was confirmed by Apple on developer forums, and also that is now confirmed in the release notes too. So please just update, download this from the developer.apple.com/download. You will have a link there where you will spend probably an hour of downloading the file and then probably a couple of hours of unpacking that, especially if you're running
every time when you need to update your Xcode. It's much more safe.
Yeah. Well, I actually wanted App Store version to work. I was unlucky to get that. Yes, if you download from the App Store, it doesn't work. I saw that myself on my machine. So
how this happens? So what's going on when you're trying to run it?
So when you try to build an app, it basically immediately says that it cannot find module definition files for a Swift package, and it basically prevents you from building. And there is nothing you can do. You can delete derived data, you can clean it, still shows the same error. And it seems that's the problem with Xcode rather than the project. And when you get the version from the Apple side, it works perfectly. It just basically builds and everything is working okay. So, well, that's basically, probably you might need to get one of those tools which can download these Xcode releases faster. There are a couple of scripts which use multiple download streams, which improve the process. But the unpacking will still be quite long, probably. At least for me. I mean, like it took too much time, and for some reason it needed up to 100 gigabytes of free space on my MacBook. I don't know why.
The temperature in your room for 2 degrees Celsius.
Yeah, that was also I like basically, and the noise from this again like ancient device was quite significant. So the back deployment is there. You can do that, and it's released. So you basically now can start deploying these apps and like basically targeting previous iOS releases. So probably we'll see something happening here in terms of how successful these back deployments are. It might be that something will go wrong, but I hope everything will be working fine, because we definitely need to change our mindset to use the new concurrency features now, especially when new like distributed actors will come into play, and that would be something which we will be using. So, and like we need to be adjusted for that. So it should be something which we do every day. So let's try to use those and deploy those to previous platforms if needed.
Yeah, if you were waiting for some sign, it's it. So just do this. Check it how it works. It really changed your mind how to work with asynchronous code, and that's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so and one more thing for people. So yeah. It's not everything. So as far as I remember, now in Xcode 13.2, you can run projects from like Swift Playground 4 projects, and that's cool, I believe.
Which is not yet released as far as I checked, but probably it will be released quite soon. So we need to expect that happening like probably any day now, maybe even today. I mean, who knows? And
if you were waiting for sign to start using SwiftUI, it is just do this.
Yeah, again. And by the way, we will talk about the education a little bit later, but probably this particular tool, you need to download it already. I mean, that's something you can show somebody like your kids or like kids of your friends, whatever. Like this is something which is, for those who are not familiar with development, the Swift Playgrounds is something really good to start with. But we will like talk about that a little bit later. And we need to probably speed up a bit.
Okay, so just blitz. So iOS 15 adoption is now 58% early. So it's
not too fast.
2 months since the release or more.
But that was kind of expected. I mean, their idea of not forcing the iOS 15 update probably like contributes to that. And now, as far as I can see, they promoting the iOS 15 update. So basically, there is something showing like, now it's the time. Basically, previously it was like if you have iOS 14, it showed iOS 14 something, and only small line on the bottom, like saying like, and yes, there is something called iOS 15 now. So this is switched, and I kind of expect this adoption rate to grow, and we'll see. But now, it's like just below the 60%, according to
do we want all our users to be upgraded to iOS 15? Do we have something like critical, except structured concurrency?
And the structured concurrency is now working on the iOS 14, by the way. The only thing I can think of is SharePlay, which is available only on the iOS 15, and but not all apps using that. So probably fair to say that if you do the apps as of now, probably you need to keep iOS 14 in mind. So it's not like everybody is already on the iOS 15. So yeah, you will have to.
Huge changes, huge set of changes between 14 and 15. So I really do not understand why people, except us, of course, we are geeks, so they need to update. As far as I know, my wife still hasn't updated her iPhone to the new version. I don't know why.
Yeah. So she contributes to that low adoption rate right now.
Yes, she is.
Yeah. Okay.
What's happening in courts?
Yeah. So Epic versus Apple is still in courts. Apple had to make changes to App Store review guidelines to allow third-party payments. And there are two news here. So first of all, they granted the permission to stay, basically do nothing until the appeal court is finished. So there are no changes, and you still cannot use any third-party payment systems in App Store apps. So like in iOS apps, you have to use in-app purchases for all the digital content. And there are a couple of exceptions on where you can use other payments, but those are quite limited, and you need to check the guidelines for that. But there is another thing which comes from the documents from the court, and that basically says that Apple still plan to, even if these will be permitted by the court, I mean, if you will be able to use third-party payment system, Apple still plans to take commission for that payments made through external payment systems. So it's not clear how exactly they will calculate the amount which like basically users spend through external systems, but this means that Apple will still need some ways of how to properly check those payments, and they will get their cut. That might be not the 30% or 15%, but they will still target that for some amount. And you will need to add probably the cut which will external payment system take, which is usually the case if you're using some third party. And therefore, it might be like less beneficial to use external system for the payments rather than using Apple's. And by the way, for those who are like screaming like why they are taking the commission, they said to allow that. Yes, the court ruled to allow external payments, but the court does not said that these external payments will go without the commission. So Apple, according to the court, like the first ruling on the court, they are allowed to take commission for the payments made through the external payment systems. So this is totally in the decision of the court. So
how they said, again, they executed, in this way.
Yeah.
By the way, it would be just a funny thing what you can do. So you open this external payment system and then press the button, pay with Apple Pay. Cool.
Yeah, well, and by the way, like why I'm thinking that this might be like a big problem. I don't like to put my credit card number somewhere, and even like when I see like online shop or like store or whatever, I would prefer using Apple Pay rather than put my payment credentials there, because that's something like who knows what will be, where it will get, and even if they're like storing them maybe properly, but they could be hacked, and therefore it's something like Apple Pay or using like in-app purchases for the digital content. It's much safer for me. I mean, like I'm trusting that much more than some other payment provider which could be using my data improperly, and I can't control that when I put the number and everything is sent to the server. I no longer control that data, and if I use Apple Pay, I can basically terminate the card, or like the token. Basically, it's the token which can be renewed, and the new token will be created, and you're pretty much safe here.
Let's appeal to people's laziness. So it's just too boring to enter these 16 digits, then check your CVC expiration date. It's so boring stuff. Just I hate this.
Yeah.
And thanks to 1Password, I can do this. That's really awesome. And even now with the integration between like with these new Safari extensions for iOS Safari, that become really, really impressive when you can just choose it from the list and it works simultaneously. And that's really cool. But still, it's sometimes some sites, they do not properly handle all the numbers properly, like expiration date. And once or twice I made such websites, I just put, fill it, everything is okay, pay, oh, wrong expiration date. Come on.
And again, I think that you need having the small business program for the App Store. You still need to consider if you really want to go with all these external payments, even if they are allowed, because it might be that the users will not be going for this external payment system because of the problems, and you will basically you will not be able to sell something. So because the users no, I won't be doing that, and they would still prefer to do one button payment within the app. And I don't know.
For those who want to save some money, okay, go on. That's up to them. Okay.
Yeah, let's move on.
Okay, so if we're talking about trying new parallel builds on M1, now thanks to Amazon, we have such an option. So not only Mac Stadium now, but also Amazon EC2, you can choose as your target machine and one Mac Mini. Sounds really promising.
Yeah. Unfortunately, only M1 Mac Mini, because we do not have M1 Pro or M1 Max Mac Minis yet. But that's still a good thing to try. And if you're doing builds on some external system or used Mac Stadium or whatever, you might consider using Amazon. You will need to check what's the financially better for you. And you can use cloud systems to run builds there. That might be beneficial for you. And if you're already using external systems for the builds, you might try to switch to M1 because that might be cheaper, specifically cheaper because of the price and of the performance. It's you will basically spend less computing time for the builds. That might be significant improvement for you. Yeah.
And I'm sure you can create these instances on demand, and then it would be just so if you need it, just run it and then remove it. I'm not sure that this works like this for M1 Mac Mini, but yeah, we need to check because that makes so you don't need your CI building node running at night. Why do you need this? No, so you can just down it and everything will be fine.
True.
However, this is not everything that Amazon offers us. So they announced that they're going to release their AWS SDK for Swift soon. So, and this sounds really promising. So now you have M1 Mac Mini in EC2. You have this SDK to just connect your applications with other services of Amazon. And that sounds really amazing. So it's really, really close for Swift to become a first-class citizen for cloud development. Not so cool as other languages, but still, it works this way and sounds really amazing.
And by the way, they support new async await syntax for the asynchronous calls there. So, why not to try learning that now? Because that might help you not with just the iOS apps, but maybe you will be doing something on the cloud as well. I mean, you already can use Swift on AWS Lambda, and having the Swift SDK for those Lambdas, that will significantly improve the access to other services. I don't know, like DynamoDB or S3 file storage or whatever. So you can use everything from which available on the Amazon, or maybe not everything, but a lot of services available for you on AWS. You can use that from the Swift natively, like having this as your app, and use new syntax, and use one language for your mobile app or desktop app or your cloud app. So this is this brings us to our next topic, probably. You need to learn Swift. Yeah, that was, yeah, I don't know, like, we'll try. So there is another update from Apple, and they are teaming up with Boys and Girls Clubs of America to teach kids how to code. And this will be a long-term partnership, and they are starting with some select locations in a couple of cities, but they will expand that through US locations later. But most importantly, they will probably use a lot this Swift Playgrounds tool, which is, well, it all started initially like on iPad as a tool to teach kids how to write Swift, from like simple things like you using finger to select commands, you guided, you helped somebody to go through the maze or something like that. There was simple, interesting task, and the tasks increased in complexity, and you basically were learning Swift on your iPad, which is nice. And now we are coming to the point where you will be able to create Swift UI apps on your iPad in Swift Playgrounds and deploy those to App Store. So like quite a long way from the first version to the fourth release of the Swift Playgrounds.
It's just because these people who started this from the first version of Swift Playground app, they want more now. They are ready to.
Yeah, and now they. Yeah, and so basically, initially it was like you will get your kid iPad. Hopefully he or she will learn how to code, and then you will need to provide them with the MacBook. Probably not anymore. You can stick with an iPad, and I mean, I'm just trying to remember how I was learning the development, and that was quite a long ago, and there were no iPads at the time.
Yeah,
there was some machines when you need tape cassettes to load games, and yes, well, I mean, like why exactly you would need a computer at the time? And by the way, it was before of the availability of the gaming consoles, like NES machines, which were like, and probably in the country I lived, it was not like NES machines. Those were clones of the NES machines and unofficial clones. But even before that, there were computers. Like basically, you could buy a computer to home, and there were games sold on the cassettes, which you will hopefully your tape player will not destroy the cassette. That also happens a lot. So there was like a lot of stuff happening at that time, and there was good old times. And now you can start learning development on your iPad. That's
watching YouTube at the same moment in picture. Yeah, I remember like
that's
in
different.
my case, I just started when you started talking about pressing mazes in Swift Playground. I started remembering that in my school we had lessons of like informatics lessons, and there we had the same. I don't remember the name of this program. We had this it's also there were just you can build a maze and write a program to learn the robot to pass this maze. That was it's nothing changed. Just another language, but this language is now more close to things that we are doing. Okay, we have now structure concurrency and all this stuff, but still, it's the same language.
But it's still Swift.
Yeah. That's really cool.
That's really, really, really nice. I mean, if you're thinking about about your kids, like if they want to go into the IT, to the development, or like you're somebody, not kids, but somebody who are not into the iOS or like any development, take a look. I mean, this is nice. I tried that myself, and there are a couple of third-party lessons created for the Swift Playgrounds. And if you want like to be more developer, like the developer, you have Swift Playgrounds on the Mac too, so you can like go through that on the Mac as well, and that also happens. And personally, I'd like to see more people coming into development. I mean, this is that helps. That helps a lot. Even if you're not going to be developer later on, you can probably do something for yourself, just to simplify some things which you do on your like regular job, and that could be your like, I don't know, pet project happening on weekends. Who knows? And I know a lot of people who started learning the development later on in their career and switched to the development and like become like professional developers. So that also happens.
Yeah, that works. Also, I think that even if you are not ready to be a developer, they just, especially for kids, they're just something new for them, something interesting, which can help them later. And probably instead of, I don't know, calculating some stuff in Excel or just manually with a calculator, they can write a program. Why not?
Right. And it's nice that Apple focused on this when they released Swift. So it was kind of hard to teach somebody Objective-C. Like, it was really hard. I did that myself in my career. I mean, like, I started with that. I learned Objective-C myself, and then I like did the course within my company to help other become iOS developers, and that was hard. I mean, really, trust me, that was not easy, and I think that's still not easy. And with Swift, that's a lot easier, and with tools like Swift Playgrounds, that's much easier. And you can still have something like Stanford's iOS development course that like still valid and very important for probably most iOS developers. But
more than 10 years now, how this works still. Yeah, I remember that I started learning iOS development from this course. It's still available.
It still works.
Up to date. It's still up to date.
Yeah,
it's possible.
I mean, definitely. And by the way, if you are looking into like, I'm already a developer, but I don't know how to code for the iOS, Stanford's CS 193P, that's something for you. We will put that into description. That's something definitely worth checking out. That's the best course out there, and it's free. Like, no downsides. Just simply like start and go with that. Okay, let's move on.
So let's talk about some privacy stuff. So
right.
Okay. By the way, I remember that you had some AirTags. Am I right?
Right. Yeah, and I'm using them day to day. I'm never had a moment where I lost something and I needed to to use them to locate the things. But it's good that I still have that in my backpack and in my wallet, and so I and on my keys, for example. That's something I have them set up for me right now.
And this is just as an insurance. You need it once. But
yeah.
This one case is very important.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. Yeah, we are digressing a little bit. So we want to discuss this situation that before the release of AirTags, there were a company called Tile who did the same product, the same hardware product, and it was bought by Life 360, right? And accidentally we found that the buyer of Tile they sells the user location data. So now they have this information about users, just devices or keys or other stuff, and they can sell more data. Profitable purchase, really, really cool.
Right.
It's nice place.
Exactly.
But users, I think they won't be happy with this.
And by the way, like the Tile has a significant user base, so it's an interesting product. It was available before AirTags were released, and they quite popular. And like, I don't know. I mean, by the way, one thing we need to mention, that Life 360 doesn't make this as something hidden. They have that in privacy policy somewhere, like between other points, like the usually with small print of the whole thing, probably not. But again, this is something they declare, but who reads those things, right?
But what their business is, what they're selling.
Well, selling your data
for us. So I just don't know. Sorry.
So yeah. So Life 360 helps you locate like your friends, like it helps you locate people typically.
It's a free service.
Like, yes, and yeah, they need to make money, and therefore they are not helping just you to locate the people, but also everybody, almost everybody, like virtually everyone.
Yeah, if you don't pay for service, you're the service.
Exactly. And they say that the data is anonymized and everything. Yes, probably, but come on. I mean, like your data is for sale, and that's bad. That's
yeah.
Really,
we remember
really,
this information from Strava that it's anonymized, but still people can see where secret US Army bases are located. So thank you. It's anonymized. Cool.
Right. So again, if you're using Tile, just know about that. Maybe consider switching to Apple. They don't sell that data, and like at least the privacy policy doesn't say so. Yeah, and well, I don't know. That's sad. I mean, really, really sad. And on the other hand, Apple published one thing on the Android, so they have one more Android app, and yeah. This app actually helps Android users to prevent tracking. So this app scans for unwanted AirTags nearby the Android users. And there are a couple of things here. First thing is good, which is basically they will show the AirTag which is separated from the owner. Basically, like if somebody put AirTag to you and went away. And the second thing, which is probably not that good, that you need to explicitly launch an app right now and scan for these unwanted AirTags. It will not do that in the background automatically. Maybe this will be later, like in future release, but at least there is something which Android users could use to, like, if they suspect that they are being tracked using the AirTags. And by the way, AirTags have feature to beep if they are traveling with somebody for a long time, separated from the owner. So the AirTag itself will try to do something to notify the user. But this Android app will help people who are not part of the Apple ecosystem to detect these things. At least it's a good step for Apple. Hopefully they will make the detection more streamlined, and you will not need to launch an app explicitly. But that makes life a little bit easier for Android users, I think. Like good step in the proper direction.
Yeah, just so release a product and then make a dirty hack for it just to make it work properly. Typical.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have a couple more updates. No, well, we have a lot of those updates now.
Yes.
Let's do that quick. These are more concerning those who are interested if you should do something on the I don't know, payments, everything, like which platform to start using when you are developing applications. So if you're talking about the laptops, or sorry, tablets, let's start with that. And iPad sales keep growing in this year, and while the whole market for tablet market declining, iPads are still looking quite good in third quarter of 2021. So these stats coming from Europe, and that seems that basically, well, iPads are still good, and they are better than competition right now, even including Windows tablets. So if you're thinking about creating an app for tablet, that probably you need to consider iPad first. So that's
do this for us,
kind
please.
of.
We are heavy users of iPads.
Right, and if you're doing that, just maybe think about using the iPad features like, I don't know, pencil support, maybe some other things like quick note support using user activity, or something which will make your app split screen again. Yes, something which is will make your app like good citizen on the iPad. So that's probably a good thing to do. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so it says that So we have a news that Apple Silicon Macs are quickly taking enterprise share. So
Right.
I expected that. So this is a report from Jump. They're saying that now, like some enterprises, they're starting acquiring more and more Apple Silicon Macs and giving this to their employees, and that's good. That's good because I personally, I would love to have my company's laptop to be a M1 at least Pro laptop. Yes.
Yeah, and I think that it would be interesting to compare. For example, if you migrate your a lot of Intel Macs or Intel PCs to M1 MacBooks, for example, MacBook Airs or maybe those 13-inch MacBook Pros, will it help you to save something on the electricity bill? Like, maybe. I don't know. Maybe if you have a lot of those machines, that might be a significant change. Probably, I don't know. Like that's something doesn't. I didn't see any stats on that, but that might be interesting.
Come on, everyone is working from home. This is the employee's problem, not the employers.
Right, but yeah. So we will see those stats probably later. Hopefully, we will see something later.
When we're back to office, please.
Yeah.
Okay, so App Store Awards 2021 winners are announced. I checked the list very quick, and the only app that I know, not only using, I do not use it, but I know is like a Weather Carrot. Am I right? Like yeah. So it's nice, it's beautiful. I haven't bought it for some reason because I don't need it. Since Apple bought Dark Sky 2 or 3 years ago, now with the iOS 15 native weather app is awesome. No native app for iPad still. Thank you, Apple. Okay, but I have widget. It's okay for me. Yeah, but still, it really looks nice, and screenshots for it. Yeah, and jokes from their robot is cool. But,
and like really good job. Carrot Weather is something worth checking out. I mean, again, yes, I don't get it. I didn't buy that because mostly I'm not into weather much, but the weather is the Carrot Weather app is really nice, and that's great. They got their App Store reward, that well deserved.
I think you will need it as soon as you migrate to M1 Mac. So you will need to know when you should take your old i9 from the shelf.
Right. Yeah, probably. Okay, fair enough. Speaking of App Store, there is a report from Sensor Tower which evaluated spending on the mobile apps in 2021, and that's $133 billion. And the split actually, like, not too surprising. Split is 85 billion goes to App Store, and for almost 48 billion goes to Google Play. So again, if you're considering paid features for your app, consider going through the App Store first. Like prioritizing the Apple platform probably will be a good thing here. Like,
however, still, I thought it would be much more difference between them, but still, just twice.
Yeah, and
unexpected. I really since the beginning I thought that people on Android, they just don't buy anything, but that's probably not truth now. So they pay money. That's really cool.
I mean, I think there is one thing here. Like everybody says, like the Android has a like big user base. Probably yes, they have a lot of devices, and not all of those devices are capable of purchasing anything. So that might be a device which is just runs Android, but even doesn't have a store for the applications. That's also the case. And they also might be the devices which are like used as something which will not require something to be like to buy something. Again, there might be, for example, your TV might have an Android installed, but you will still be using, for example, Apple TV, or like if you are into Amazon things, you will have something like Fire TV from Amazon or whatever. And
I have
therefore,
I have a smart home panel in my home, and I see that it's running Android, but I still cannot install something there, but I don't need it.
Right. So it's something which like we need to compare probably the active user base which actually does purchases. In that case, it would be interesting to compare like how much people actually buy stuff on Android and the iOS. If we take the like basically the users, like the real users of the devices.
Sorry, Android folks,
we'll
but still, you are doing a really great job on doing applications. Yeah. Thank you, everyone. But yeah, sorry.
Yeah, but the spendings are like almost twice for the App Store, right?
Okay. Probably the final stuff from today. So Apple Wallet now supports room keys with some Hyatt hotels, and this is something just so cool. I don't know. I want to have a key for my office on my Apple Watch or iPhone. I just want this so hard. And they had in some of their presentation of new Apple Watch or probably some WWDC when they just show it like I tap it here and enter to the room with the Apple Watch. I need this, please, Apple.
Yeah, let's make this like general availability for businesses, for not just for hotels, please. Yeah, I mean, like really, that would be really helpful.
Yeah, and that would be much more safe rather than just having some physical card which you can lose.
Oh,
but
yeah.
If your Apple Watch is locked, your iPhone is locked with a Face ID, that's safer, as I think, than just letting everyone use your card as it.
True. Yeah. Okay. And so we have one more update on App Store. And that relates basically to the idea of how you can customize your product pages. So you can now have a couple of different product pages for the App Store apps, and they will have different URLs, and you can advertise them separately. And that basically means you can now run A/B tests on your App Store pages featuring one feature of the application, like featuring a feature, okay, and or another. So you can like basically highlight something in one description and see if that gets you more downloads or not. So that's something new and interesting if you are into making those things. So basically, you will need to have a lot of energy put into that if you're like need to understand what exactly users are looking from your application if they are going not through the like basically web where it was advertised, but rather going to App Store, looking for something, opening it there, and then like reading, for example, the description or watching your screenshots which you provide, and then decide to.
That worked the same, I think.
Yeah.
I remember it was. So it took about 7 or 8 years for Apple to understand that they should do this, because I remember such service from some guys from Belarus who did this. Like they provide you with a web page where you can customize, make it similar to App Store page, and then just when you tap get it, so it will direct you to App Store. And yeah, there they had these A/B testing features where you just check everything. Thanks, Apple. Finally, 7 years. Good job. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I would be interested to see how it works. I mean, like if that really solves the problem, we'll see. I mean, if you're into this App Store optimization, so you have now native tools from Apple, so you can do that.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that would be it for today. We honestly hoped, or well, maybe not hoped, but we honestly thought that this will be short episode, like less than half an hour, probably. No luck this time. And we might need to announce that next episode might not be happening on Tuesday. We are currently working to invite some special guests for our next episode. That will be just before the new year. And we hopefully announce it a little bit earlier so you will all have time to like get to that episode, because that might be really, really interesting, and that will be definitely should be fun. So keep an eye on our updates, annonces. We will come with those a little bit later. And as of now, thank you for coming to our podcast or listening to us. Rate us in your podcasting app.
Yeah.
It is the time. It's like last days of the year, like probably the best time to analyze which you like. Did you like the podcast for during this year? Like, put your rating there. Write us a review. That would be really, really helpful. And with that, we will see you in 2 weeks, but we will announce the date.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, everyone. See you.
Thank you.
In 2 weeks plus some days. Yeah.
Something. Yeah. Bye.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.